Good afternoon and welcome to the Keisha Podcast Show. Hey everyone, welcome, and thank you for listening in. And I hope you had the opportunity to listen to episodes 1 through 9. And this is going to be episode 10. And this is also going to be the last episode for season 1. So thank you for all your support. And when you look at the podcast, can y'all please begin to subscribe? I would love for y'all to subscribe and become active listeners to my podcast for each day. Today's topic is, if you was put in a situation, what would you do? What would you do? And the reason for this day's topic is I just so happened that the radio was on this morning in the vehicle. I was going out to, and a special shout out to all the 2024 graduates. I was going to a graduation this morning and the radio happened to be on, and what they were talking about was, what would you do as a parent if you was faced with a situation where a student was bothering your child and you had tried, different measures as far as trying to resolve the issue, but it had not yet come to there was no resolution. And as I was listening to the show, I could not believe some of the responses that I was hearing from adults. And first, I have to say, I understand that we must protect our children. Believe me, I agree with it. I agree with that 100%. But there is also a way to do everything. And the reason why I decided to make this today's topic is because you heard the parents, adults, talking about fighting and how another parent had jumped on another parent in front of the children and all these things because they were setting the example and their child wouldn't leave their child alone, so things just kind of got out of hand. And if I would do this and I would do that if it was my child. And I could not believe that I was hearing what I was hearing from adults. And as adults, when we get to a certain age, we must carry ourselves as adults. As adults, we must set the example for our children. Our children, for the most part, a lot of times follow our guidance, our lead, our direction. I am never, ever going to say that your child's supposed to be acceptable to mistreatment. I never say that. Because as a parent, I tell mine, even as adults to this day, you have the right to protect yourself. And you do have that right to protect yourself. Nobody have the right to mistreat anyone. Regardless of what's going on, nobody have the right to mistreat another human being. But when I hear parents talking about fighting and the things that they would do if it was their child, and the things they would do if if it just got to that level and it was another parent, and if it was I just could not believe the response that was coming from the host or hostess that was on this particular radio station. And I want to say that that's part of the problem that we're having now. That's part of the reason why we have so many issues when it comes to violence and it comes to the things that's going on in the schools, because 99% of the issues is the parents. It's the parents. There is never going to be a reason for the parent to go to the school and talking about fighting the teacher, the administration, and the staff and all these things because their child is going through this. I get it. Believe me, I do. But at some point, you have to draw the line. At some point, if the parents, you have to be what? The parent. And regardless of the situation, you have to know how to conduct yourself. Fighting ain't never ever gonna be the solution. It doesn't matter what part of the planet we on, where we from, who you know, what kind of skills you have. That's never going to be the resolution to fix a problem when it comes to young adults. Because that's part of the problem. Young adults don't know how to what? Not take a situation and turn it into violence. Nobody's child should go through being bullied. Nobody's child should have to go to school and feel that they are unsafe. Believe me, I get it. I get it 100%. But your issue, no matter what is going on between one child and another, it's not with their parent. The parent is not in school. The parent is not in school. So for adults to be saying how they would do this and the way they would handle it, I was totally shocked. I couldn't believe that I was hearing what I was hearing. And they defined that as protecting and doing what's in the best interest of their child. There's a time when defense and defending your home and your family is appropriate. But when you run into situations and it starts on that school campus, that's the job of the administration to do what's necessary to resolve an issue. And when you can't get an issue resolved with the administration because somebody is picking on your child, or it then got out of control and it's an everyday thing, and you then tried to go up there and talk to the administration and get it under control, and it just continues, then you take it to the home. You go over their head. Because I understand, I believe that's what the superintendent is there for. You report the issues to the proper what? Protocol. Follow the procedures. If there's ever a time that a parent feels that their child is unsafe on a school campus, you need to notify the correct people so that they can get it under control. Taking it up with another parent, they was talking, they said, how they had and jumped on parents in front of the students and all kind of stuff. And I could not believe that they felt that that was okay, that it went to that point. Her parents was talking about, I'm from here and I'm from there and all kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, the fact that they had this as a topic, I feel they were just basically what they define as egging it on and instigating a situation, trying to create a situation or make a situation. That's what they were doing. And never, ever will that ever be okay. Because we all have children. We all have, for the most part, nieces and nephews or family members or neighbors with children or, never, ever is that the solution or the resolution to handle a situation. It's different if somebody come to your house and talking about they about to do something to one of your children. That's one thing. because now they own your property. It's at that point in time that you have the right to defend your home and protect your home, your family. But that's totally two different situations. A parent is never, ever got the right to take it on their campus and talking about harming somebody else's child. Because even if y'all do not realize, and I'm going to let you know now, you will get arrested and you will be faced with charges. It doesn't matter what part of the states or what part of this world that you live in. You cannot do that. Cannot condone violence. You can't turn around and go mistreat somebody else's child because somebody mistreat yours. You can't decide that, I'm about to go do something to this parent because their child keep bothering my child. That's not how it goes. Come on, y'all. Y'all have to be adults. Set the right example. I'm not saying that you're supposed to accept somebody picking on your child. No, you're not. You're not. As a parent, you are supposed to do what you need to do in order to what? Make sure your child is safe and to protect your child. But it's also a way to handle any situation. Y'all can be listening to this stuff that be on some of these radios and talk shows and things like that. But behind all of that, there's outcomes for choices in which we make. I love children. I love my children dearly. And there's not nothing that I would not do for my children to protect them and to keep them safe. But if you don't understand a situation, don't ever make an assumption. Because my situation, when I make a comment about a certain thing, believe me, it had nothing whatsoever to do with what? My child in school. Nothing at all. People, you have to be adults. You have to handle things as adults. You don't go get to put your hands on another person's child, because then you're what? You're asking for issues. You're asking for issues. Issues that can definitely be what? Prevented and avoided. Don't listen to the things that they say on some of these shows, these talk shows or these radios. Because they're not giving a damn about you as a human being. You know, so many people we're already in so many different ways stereotyped. And that definitely can change. People, we need to love one another. Be more supportive of one another. Be a positive influence in our communities. Set the right examples for our children, for the youth that's growing up in today's society. Because it's those youth that are going to be the leaders by the time we hit 2030. The generations that are coming up now, it's going to be the generations that's going to be what? The next leaders, your next governors, your next presidents, your next mayors, your next teachers, your next doctors, your next what? You name it. It's the generations that we are in today that are going to be holding the foundation of this future. The future that we all trying to be part of. I have 3 children. My oldest is 27 years old, and my youngest is 14. We're in those times where you have to allow your children to grow from their mistakes. Never am I to say, and I would never say, for them to accept to be mistreated. Never. But we must love our children not only unconditional, but in ways that will help shape the future. Because it's now. Now is the time to shape the future. It's the values and the morals and the standards that we are installing in them now that holds tomorrow. It's not always about the past. It's not just about the present. It's not just about the future. It's all three. It's the foundation that we are setting today. The foundation that we are living in today was installed by our ancestors. So many years ago, they set the foundation. But we as parents must continue to set that foundation. We must still continue to install morals and values and standards, principles and guidance, and letting them know that there is nothing that they cannot do. That's our jobs as parents, and that job does not stop. That's an ongoing job, a job that you do every single day. Every single day. We need to teach our children how to love each other, not downsize each other. You don't look down on somebody because they can't come to school every day with their hair done. Or they can't come to school every other day or every other week or every other month with a new pair of shoes. We set that example. And we are, as parents, are the only ones that can change it. You don't ever let your children feel that it's okay to make fun of another child. That's about what? Helping them to understand that people have feelings. People have emotions. Everybody ain't living the same style or the same lifestyle or by the same standards. Everybody ain't making the same income. But that don't mean that you go and look down on somebody else because you feel like you got more than what that child has. We set that tone. We, as parents, set that tone. The golden rule say you treat others as you would want to what? Be treated. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. It's what we are teaching our children. Can't blame that on the schools because it starts at home. You can't teach your children that everything to resolve every issue is with their fists or mistreating somebody else's child because we are all human beings. Treat somebody how you want to be treated. If you don't want nobody making fun of you, then that's what you teach your child. And guess what? When you start installing those values at home, it won't make it to the schools. You won't see children bullying one another, looking down on one another, talking about one another. What you got to talk about? What you know about talking about somebody else? None of that stuff would be existing if the values and the morals and the standards were installed before your child walk out the door. That is not acceptable. So instead of teaching them how to go to school and talking about whooping somebody's ass, what about teaching them how to respect one another? I'm Keisha. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Keisha Podcast Show.